The Seeker Saga. I've dropped multiple different teasers on that. I've dropped 3 shorts. I think there's a 4th one that's private, and I have 2 literal discussions on that. I think that, well, 3 on thank you. I have 29 subscribers now. My channel is officially grown, and I feel thankful. One thing I've said is the Saga's original lore was never here, so we did the false timeline, which means it's not canon, as in that timeline has died out. It will not be canon, it will not be brought up. A lot of y'all saw the first post, who is the new guy. You see what looks to be kinetic, you see a seer, and then you see the new guy. And a lot of people, someone guessed Seeker. It is not Seeker, but he is a new character. Not a new character, but he has appeared in the original too, of the Saga series. In the Saga, he's a character from the first bits of the episodes. If you can remember him, it'll be nice for you to comment on one of the videos. One thing I know is that I am much of a fan for the Seeker Saga. The Seeker Saga is the original name and the original lore, original everything. So as what I had before, some of the lore is the same, some of it is different, because I did think I was doing the right thing. But when I found the original lore in the book and in my documents, I was like, in the Google Docs, I was like, that is insane. This is who was supposed to die on episode 1, and this is who really was supposed to die. The villains were in the wrong appearance. Dark Steve is the absolute GOAT for the Seeker Saga, and I love the fact that he's a character that people don't know what his actual roles will be and what he'll do in the series. So I really appreciate people on that one. The Light Steve was not shown in the trailer. Unfortunately, I don't have that design for him. There's an orange Steve. There's so many different characters that did not appear in the trailer because I don't design it. You did see Light Steve's brother. He was supposed to appear in the Lost Kingdom universe. Like I said, the original Saga Lord messed up the original stuff. So the original stuff won't appear the same way, but it might appear in the series. The Lost Kingdom doesn't take place in the same universe as the Seeker Saga. Like, there probably won't even be an origin for the Seeker Saga. The Seeker Saga is completely different in the series of it. One of the shorts says the villains are not the hero or are the hero, something like that. That's a lot of villains I went through for y'all, and it's gonna get longer and longer with more and more heroes and characters. J Avengers Unite, I always don't understand, but I mean, I could possibly do videos with them. They won't appear for every episode because not the protagonist and the antagonist the main antagonist will meet the villain all the time. The main villain, that character y'all saw, I don't think no one saw Void. Void is a character. He plays not the same role as the main villain, but he plays a villain, more of a vigilante, but really a villain. In fact, we still have Fall, who will have a different name. Kinetic meets his best friend, actually. It's early on in it. So how will the lore begin and what's the origin? So the origin will go over in the beginning of the series of where they take place, and it's the stuff still happening from the original events. But other than that, it's a pretty good series with it. I'm much more excited for the funny moments. There are a lot of them, and over time, maybe there might be different brightening. I heard Minecraft is bright. When I saw that bright, I was like, Saga's gonna look amazing. Well, I thought of it, and I was like, the Secret Saga, found that shit. I'm like, the lore looks so good, the storytelling sounds, it's raw storytelling, major plot twists, and an echoing of shadow and of depth. And I'm like, what character will be so good to play this role? And I was like, yes. So I did post at least is this origin whose origin, who's God Steve. No one's responding on that video. Please respond on that video. Respectfully, I like to have people guess their opinions on it. There is no character named Seeker. The guy in that picture, in fact, is a very anticipated character people wanted more time on, and I just got rid of him out of nowhere. Really looked into the villains of it. In fact, a lot of y'all might be confused. Time Sleep won't have a young version, but you'll have, like, in that universe, there won't be just one Time Sleep. There's multiple clocks dealing with something different. And in season 1 of the Secret Saga, the most devastating threat is always the smallest one. And yeah, a lot of that. Funny. I was really when I found out I'm gonna do Saga. I found it. I was like, the Secret Saga. I originally was gonna call it the Hope Saga, but the Secret Saga. A lot of my favorite characters are absolutely amazing. I love Dark Steve, Light Steve's brother. I love the characters I said and the character that y'all think is Seeker. I love those. Kinetic is the only character who has not been revealed. The only last hero who has not been revealed. There are other heroes in there, but they aren't considered heroes, as Light Steve's a vigilante. And I mean, not because he's working with the villains, but the character's behavior. That's why his brother appears in one of the early episodes to finally be like, oh, Light Steve. And like I said, this weakest villain becomes the strongest in the main villain. One of the characters I really want y'all to take a picture of it when you get to that point of the video for showing the villains. And I want you to ask me, who are these characters? I'd like to know each of the point of views of it. I won't do interviews at this moment. This weekend I am finally moving into a home instead of being an apartment. So I can't do nothing this weekend. But I will say I am impressed with how the saga will go. I hope the saga goes good. I really want the saga to explode with epic details and depths. I really do love the characters, Lord, into it. I could give some more right now. I think y'all know the basic factions that we have is the Darkness, the Seers, and the Rainbow Steeds. Those are the 3 basic factions you should know and be aware of in the series. We know how the Rainbow Steeds were created, and we know how the Seers were created. Which means, yes, in the same universe, we have the Color War. This time, the Color War started because of the Red Steeds disloyal. It was the Alliance. The Rainbow wasn't the Rainbow Killer. It was the Color Kingdom, right? It had all your colors: red, orange, yellow, green, purple, blue, violet, which is pink. And Red had disloyalty because he had Redstone. They had Redstone power and engineer and energize their kingdom. They didn't want to share the power. So Greed took the Red King, and the Red King said, fuck this shit, I'm going to declare war. He started with the weakest of violent. He wiped them out. There were only 2 remaining. Didn't know where they are. He attacked the Orange Kingdom. The Orange Kingdom are known for their building technique. And the Orange Kingdom said, fuck nah, I'm going to show you some of my friends. So they got alliance with the Blue and the Yellow Steves. The Blue and Yellow Steves and the Orange teamed up together to go be like, nah, fuck you, Red Kingdom. One of the Red Steves tried to get the Green. And he said, no, we're not fighting in the Green Kingdom. Completely bent. The Indigo Steves said their knowledge. They said we're not participating in the war. And they also left the war. The whole kingdom disappeared. So around that time, the remaining kingdom that was fighting Red created the Seers, and the Reds created the Rainbows. And the Rainbows and Seers have been fighting ever since, because of one kingdom. And the Red King, I will say, he is a character as one of the villains. He's one of the villains, but he doesn't look like who he should be. And it's not that hard to tell who the Red King is, because he's a character that starts from the bottom and makes his way up. Now, I wouldn't say he would be a villain, but he's a character that y'all made a mistake on. the Seers pretty much, as we know, Origin City was their main home, or Origin City is not the name of their main base. The main base of the Seers, how the Seers started was originally that the shipwreck, and you had to find them. That's not going to start for the beginning. The beginning of the series starts with Kinetic being sent out onto the world. Fall, the elder Seers, like he feels Kinetic is ready for the real world and needs to face what's out there. As the Seers haven't left the kingdom in 20 years since the event, so they send him out there. He's aware of the Rainbow Steve's aggression. Rainbow General is my favorite motherfucker, and he really does see your boy Kinetic, and Kinetic doesn't look the same as he did in the original. Possibly won't. He might. And Kinetic runs into Shart, which is another seer, and he later meets the Saga seer. You get the point. He ends up meeting seers and friends. Time where he later reveals the true enemy, and how one small dude can create an army, and that army later reveals the brother of Fall, which is, we all know who that is, and Voice Steve is an Indigo Steve. As Indigo Steves know knowledge and they know space and time. They're basically the first. They are the first Steves the first creation of fucking God in Origins. They worship them. They learn how to use magic. They established a base of operations. They dug and built that shit brick by brick. And he's not an Indigo Steve in this universe because that would make Void a little more powerful. Similar as well, if you consider him weak, basically he's not trying to get the grief of immortality. He's really on a path for revenge, and that revenge will be shown in a series. Rainbow Steves, over time, they'll look at Kinetic and be like, the fuck are you supposed to be? He'd be like, I'm a seer. I'm like, no, the fuck you're not. You look nothing like them. And the Rainbow General that you all know of eventually be friends with him until you realize, yeah, he is a seer, but that friendship doesn't end with them. You know what I'm saying? Not big teasers, not saying the series will go exactly like how I said, but along the line. The seers will be like, oh shit, I think Kinetic might be in trouble, because they realize, oh, something ain't right. And Elder and his niggas will finally get out there and go be like, let's go help them. You know what I'm saying? And when they finally do help, the time feels like it's almost over, and that one small guy creates a whole fucking ripple effect problem. But around that time, the kingdoms that were in war, right, they discovered new shit. And I care that I'm anticipating for is Ghost Steve. I really do like Ghost Steve. I ain't gonna lie. He's supposed to be a spy, but also a character heavily useful and could be useless to some people. After that, the kingdoms of left, they find where the Green Steves were really located. What happens to the two last Violet Steves? Where are they at? They found out what dimension the Interghosts got to hide in to not be in the war. They found out the blue, orange, and the yellow Steves survived, and they found out they found the remaining red Steves who said we didn't end the war, and they still loyal to their fucking leader. They find a lot of shit going on. This isn't even trying to hide trying to hide the fact that these good moments appear. The good moments for me are the introductions to characters I didn't show. I really hope. Now, the picture of what I did show, that is not Void. Like I said, I showed an old Kinetic and I showed an old Void. Those couldn't be their designs in the future. But you get the point. Some of the characters I didn't show. I didn't even show Shark. I did show Saga. No, I didn't show Saga. That's actually another year I showed. But Saga and Shark have not been revealed. A lot of characters haven't been revealed. Elemental was revealed. You already know the elemental god name is Ethan. Then he has a child named Elemental. He doesn't have no elemental kids though. The darkness was created by a whole different thing. The darkness appeared around the time the Kingdom War began. That darkness was born from one man. That's the Red King. So when they rebel, they were like, oh shit, the Red King is different. The Red King comes in and he creates his own population. So now, as the main colors are gone, you got three dominant kingdoms. You got the darkness, the rainbows, and you got the fucking seers. The seers build away in the savannah biome. The fucking rainbows, they go into like a desert populated area or more of a like outside oasis shit. While you got the darkness who go down in the caves, deep in the caverns below, hiding from all threats. They're like, I'm not trying to get killed or trying to be into this war, but they're trying to. As the darkness stays hidden forever, the the darkness needs darkness to live. They can walk in the light, but they'll be weak in the light. You know what I'm saying? So if darkness is there, they grow stronger. When they come out on the surface, they might be immune to the light. So when they hear about that, the seers ask God in Origins to grant them abilities to beat these demons. And he's like, we're not going to grant you those abilities, but they grant them other abilities to see the future 10 seconds and the past 10 seconds. Of the past and the future, 10 seconds ahead, right? As they can't freeze time, but God brings the Chronos Council, the clocks, all the clocks. And the clocks are allies with the seers, but not allies with the rainbows. You kind of know why. But when God hears about this, he creates three individual brothers. And these three brothers are like, you have Who's, you have Arctic, and you have like Steve officially himself. These three are sent out to do what they are meant to do, to stop the dark. Who decides to travel the world searching for the color seeds. He ends up being with the Indigos sometime. He does run into Kinetic eventually in the future. It won't be. Actually, Arctic appears immediately and joins the Seers. Light adventures out and almost gets captured by the rainbows. And the main brother that appears the most is Arctic, and then Light will appear later in the series. So their job is to stop the darkness. They help the Seers. The Times, the Lights join the Seers Alliance. They alliance altogether are called the Citadel as their faction. The Citadel got beef with rainbows in the darkness. And the one thing the rainbows and the Citadel can agree on, they all hate the darkness. So the darkness is unknown until a powerful person in their faction will rise up and take that crown as a leader. God and Origin Steve cannot intervene in this. They let similar to these are the free roaming beings got to test them to see. Some, at least in this society, they don't sacrifice each other. And there are some good loyal ones. Right on time to it all. So they kind of do what they do there. Kinetic is just basically was a fraction of being. I know when the original Lord, he was a part of the Fallen Brothers, and he had Fallen Steve, Soulless Steve, Havoc Steve, Enchanted Steve. He is not a part of those brothers. However, Soulless Steve will appear, Havoc will appear, and a couple of them. There are two separate characters in the series. Star Steve appears. Threat. The Seers back then were brutal and violent. So originally, to their original, what they were supposed to be, they were violent characters who actually didn't care about God's words. But pretty much in the Secret series, you'll get the point when it comes out. I really do wish y'all to understand that. Thank you for the 29 subscribers. That was a really good amount. Made to our goal from 20 was this year. 20 was supposed to be 2025, but it made it to this year. And now we're going really past it to 50 subscribers. Then 100 is the next goal after 50. And then it's really, really nice to understand that people watch these videos. I think the shorts are the most watched thing. I think Blue, something Blue, but the Crossroads series. I know season 1 was pretty much over. I did not drop season 2 for it. Haven't even dropped for it. And the music project is still in the 08s up there. Still going good. But yeah, y'all pretty much went to that goal. I really do hope someone finds out who the character is, because yeah, let's not call him Seeker. It's pretty obvious on who he is. But that's all. I'll see you later. Mixing Studio presents a goodbye message for his viewers. Peace.